Hello YouTube, Multi-Double M68 here, along with another video of a handgun that I purchased not too long ago. Now, those who look into my playlist of videos that I have, you'll probably see in my profile that basically my budget for handguns that I have is $400, and pretty much all the videos I presented of all the handguns I have or own, they always run below $400. I'm not, I don't have very deep pockets, and I kind of like to just buy more than one handgun. Instead of spending like $500 or something on one handgun, a high-end handgun, I'd rather divide that and get 2 guns or 3 guns out of it if it's possible. But however, I made a big exception with this handgun. Now, the target here or what you saw in the beginning of the video, it's a 12-inch target, okay? And basically, most of the hits you saw were in this area here, which is basically about 6 inches. So I had a decent group, but at least for my shooting capabilities, I was shooting at 45 feet or 15 yards. Normally, I'm strictly stick to 7 yards. On occasion, I'll shoot 15 yards, but I'm not very good at it. And of all the pistols that I have, maybe one that maybe comes close to hitting around this area, but not consistently, but I'm able to hit in this area would be my Walther PPX in 9mm. And that's probably one of the few guns I can manage to hit around here. But with this pistol, I mean, there are a few, like maybe a couple outliers here, but I was able to hit in 6 inches at a distance of 45 feet, which is pretty good for me, I think. Yeah, there's people that can shoot a lot better than I can, but at least for my capabilities, I was very happy with that group that I was able to get. And anyway, basically what happened was about last year around July, I think, I had gone shooting with some of my son's friends. And one of his friends had this particular pistol, and neither end were shooting range activities. I asked him, well, let me shoot some rounds if you don't mind. And he did. He gave me 10 rounds, and I shot the target, and it was just a consistent grouping, just right in the center. I mean, I was so impressed by the way the gun felt that I said to myself, you know what? I gotta have one of those guns. I gotta have it. And this gun is very well known. It's a very popular handgun. And no, it's not a Glock. It's not a CzECH. It's a CZ-75B, a Czechoslovakian pistol. A very well-known, very popular pistol. It's an all-steel frame pistol in 9mm. Now this one is the Cz-75b Omega. From my understanding, there are a couple of variations of this pistol. I believe some have like a decocker or what have you. This one is strictly safety. So, if the pistol is cocked, well, first off, make sure to show you it's loaded. Oh, I'm sorry, that was a practice round. That wasn't loaded. Sorry about that, but it is a practice round, so don't worry about that. But anyway, this one is strictly a safety, and it locks the trigger, and it keeps the hammer from engaging. So it's not a decocker, but there are some variations of this pistol that have the decocker. Anyway, this is a very nice gun, a very heavy gun. I just weighed it on my scale, and it weighs 35 ounces, 35.2 ounces. It's over a 2-pound gun. It's a very heavy gun, but also a very nice pistol. Came with two 16-round magazines. Like I said, it is a steel frame pistol. It's just a really beautiful gun. It has a nice beaver tail here. It kind of almost reminds me a bit of a 1911 with this beaver tail, at least. It's just so beautiful and amazing. It's just an amazing shooter. And it's also very big. It fits really nice in my hands. This one came with those phosphorus type sights. I think you shine them in the light and then they glow green for a little bit. It is a hammer-fired pistol, as you can see. It is one of the most popular 9mm out there. Along with the Glocks and the SIGs and what have you. But there are a lot of people that own. I've seen a lot of people that own these guns. They say they're probably one of the most accurate shooting pistols out there, and it is. It's just an amazing shooter. It is a double action. One thing I will say, the trigger pull in double action mode is very heavy. As you can see, I couldn't measure it, but I think it's rated around between 15 to 18 pounds. It's very, very heavy. Okay. But once it fires, every subsequent round, the hammer will be back this way, and the trigger with that is very light. I mean, it is freaking light, like less than 4 pounds. It doesn't take much. It's a very light trigger in single action mode. Very light. Boom. Now, breakdown of this pistol is, I guess this is a little, not too tricky, but it's a little different from other handguns that I've owned. Now, what you do is you can have your hammer at the half cock position. Now, there is a half cock position on this pistol, which is right here. And what I do is I normally place it right about there. And then if you look closely here, there are two little lines, one here and one there. Okay, and you have to line, one's on the slide and the other one's on the frame of the pistol. And so what you need to do is you need to align those two lines there. Okay, once you have them aligned like that, you have to push the slide lock, which basically is this pin here on the opposite side, and this allows the slide lock to pop out, and you're able to remove it. It is a bit hard to do, but to push this out, I have to use a hammer. It's not well broken in, but if you give me a moment, I'll have to apply the hammer and knock it out on this side to pop it out. Just bear with me a moment. All right, so I was able to knock it out a little bit. It's popped out a bit, so I can able to pull it out with my fingers. Once you pull it out, and then you pull on the trigger, boom, the slide pops out. Now, the trigger length, or I'm sorry. Well, first off, this is the guide rod. It's basically a very short guide rod. I don't know what you call that, but it's made of polymer. And the barrel length on this thing's, I believe, about 4.75 inches, I believe. Now, with reference to the guide rod, it is, like I said, polymer. They do offer these in steel, if you want to put a steel guide rod, but I've read some blogs related to that, and some people suggest it's better just to stick to the original, because with a steel guide rod, if you're not careful, what ends up happening is, while the slide moves back, firing off the pistol, the steel rod could eventually I guess based on the spring, it may possibly move crookedly or something inside the slide and may end up scratching the inside of your slide. I don't know how accurate or how true that is, but I guess for argument's sake, for me personally, I think I would just stick with the original. I mean, it was designed for that purpose, and I don't see any reason why I would change this to a steel guide rod. Like I said, it's all steel frame, very nice, very heavy, along with the bottom frame as well. Now, one unique feature about this pistol, and it's also very common amongst the newer CZs, is that the slide will have a groove which allows it to be below into the frame of the pistol. In other words, for example, if we look at this Taurus here, now a lot of the pistols, and it has a similar, I guess you can say, a way of removing the slide similar to the Glock, but the slide will ride on top of the frame of the pistol frame. It just basically glides on top of it. If you look at it, you have that. But with the CZ, the slide groove falls within the pistol frame. Now, the uniqueness of how this slide cycles within the bottom frame of the pistol, basically, from my understanding, it allows for a much more manageable felt recoil when you discharge it. You're able to have a much controlled ability to control the recoil with this design. It's locked in. Let's see if I can get it out. There we go. But anyway, basically that's the uniqueness of the CZ-75B. But from my understanding, all the newer polymer frame pistols of the CZ brand have this same technology or the same setup. So, but anyway, accuracy-wise, I will say it is accurate, and it helps a lot with the felt recoil to some extent. So now the negatives. Now, again, the recoil and accuracy of this pistol is really, really amazing. But one thing that I do see as a disadvantage is in the event of having a round in the chamber. Well, first off, if you do have this chambered and the hammer ends in this position, it's difficult to spot check it. It's pretty hard. Okay, you'd have to push it pretty much all the way back and then put it on safety. And then you can spot check if you have a round in there. Now, to disengage or to bring the hammer back, you have to disengage the safety. Now, say like you have a round chambered in here and you want to deactivate or bring the hammer back. Well, unfortunately, this thing doesn't have a decocker. So you basically have to depress the trigger and with your thumb hold this hammer back. Now, when you depress the trigger, if you have a round chambered in here, you have to hold on to this. You you depress the trigger, and you can ride the hammer slowly back, but it will go into the half cock position, and it'll stop right there. Okay, so it is a very tricky process to do this, and you have to be very, very careful. And you definitely, if you have a round chamber in here, you want to do this with no one in the way. You know, you just got to be really, really careful with that. But with practice, you know, you'll be able to master this. But it's something to be very careful with. Another disadvantage, at least that I had in firing this pistol, and I think on that day when I went to the range, I think I fired off probably about 50 rounds or so. The beaver tail, and it may have been also the rounds I was using. I was using those Browning 9mm rounds. I don't know if they run really hot or not, but at the end of the shooting session, this beaver tail was digging into my meaty area here of my hand, and it left a bit of a bruise, and that was pretty painful. So there was a lot of felt recoil. However, I did notice that the hand grips were slightly loose, so that may have played a part in that happening. Nevertheless, that was pretty painful, and that was hopefully something that will probably correct itself once I take it out again to the range. Hopefully that was the case for that, was the loose hand grips. But that was very painful. As far as accessorizing this, I did invest in some 19 round, I believe these are 19 round Metgar magazines. These are also for the CZ-75, but I think these are more for the polymer frame, made for the polymer framed models of the CZ-75. But you can see it's made by Metgar. And it is a 19 round magazine, but it fits really nice in the Cz-75B with that extra extension right there, but you really don't need it, or I don't need it, but that's basically what it would look like. But it does fit in this pistol. Now, final thoughts. Like I said, I'm normally, my budget's always been around $400. And, you know, I purchased several inexpensive handguns within that price range. And I've gotten rid of some too. I tend to get rid of guns that are, you know, finicky with ammo, or they're not very accurate, or maybe the trigger's just not very good, or the recoil, or what have you. I've gotten rid of a lot of guns because of those issues. But the guns that I do keep, I keep because of accuracy, especially in the 7-yard range. That's important to me. If accuracy is really good at 7 yards, I'm happy. But with this pistol, it's not only accurate at 7 yards, it's also accurate at 15 yards. And it's probably accurate much further than that. I think the potential is there to shoot this. It's probably accurate to as far as even 25 yards. And that's basically near Hickok's range of shooting. He's, you know, if you look at Hickok 45, he's pretty good at that 80-yard gong. So, or the distance to the gong, I think it's like 80 yards. So, it's I think just a very nice and accurate pistol. Price-wise, I think it was worth the 500 and I believe it was $529. What's amazing is I was able to find it at that price, this particular pistol. You know, July 3rd, 2020, we were going through that COVID-19 mess. And so a lot of handguns were selling pretty expensively. You know, there was a shortage of handguns. I was able to find this on Guns America for that price, just under 530 bucks. And believe me, it did not bother me to spend that much money on this. And I have no regrets putting that money out on this pistol. It's a really nice pistol, a real nice shooter. For me personally, it probably will be more of a collector's item, an occasional shooter or take to the range every once in a while. But it's something I probably won't even consider using for self-defense. I mean, the potential's there, but yeah, I think it's too nice of a pistol to put it through that. I may eventually upgrade and change these to some wood grips. I've seen some on eBay, some pretty nice ones, hand carved type. I don't know if they're hand carved, but they look really nice. I may end up switching them out and put some of those wood grips. But I think this is just a nice collector's item and well worth the money, I think. But anyway, there it is. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please hit the like button, and y'all take care of yourselves, and God bless.